real estate company called Tempest Gold. We're working on PropTech, which is property technology, and we have a software that we're rolling out into Botswana. So this is for property as well as facilities management. I connected with Ray Abednego on LinkedIn, and I told him that we'd like to present our software to you, and that's where we find ourselves right now. Joining me is also my colleague and partner, Vernon Kawanza. He is our software developer, and he'll be the one taking us through the presentation. Clive, are you ready? Sorry, his other name is Clive, so I call him by Clive most times.
I was a little shocked you're calling me Vernon today.
Okay, gentlemen, I think Clive will begin.
Okay, gentlemen, so what we've built is really an end-to-end property portfolio solution, and it focuses on three aspects mainly. We focus on bill presentment and payment, basically the financial management of rental collection, as well as following users up and keeping track of their late payments. We also focus on maintenance, and in terms of maintenance, we're really focused on automating the process of dispatching a service provider to a given tenant, because what we've realized is that more often than not, in large facilities, tenants usually don't have a single point of communication where they can pretty much interact with their lease on an ongoing basis. You know, the relationship is spread amongst a lot of people. So we focused on that and built a facility that allows you to configure your own maintenance teams, be it contractors, internal people, it all works the same. We sort of have an invoicing module in place that'll allow you to make one team that's a mixture of internal and external contractors. So in terms of lease renewal, that's pretty straightforward. We pretty much track the lease and also offer the client renewal facilities, collecting first signatures, as well as escalating the lease itself and applying all the rules that follow. So in terms of our offering to you, we realize that not every client needs the same thing, and what we're about to show you is essentially a base model which has been iterated and refined over the course of about a year to a year and a half, and we're confident that our model covers at least 80% of large-scale needs. So I'll take you through each of these components and give some explanations as well, and then we'll have a discussion after that. In terms of questions, you may want to ask questions as I'm presenting. I don't mind stopping and answering, just so that we move in one progressive line. And Nelta will also chip in where I need her assistance.
Yes.
Okay, so does anyone know how to screen share here? I'm trying to share my screen.
It's on the bottom.
You can see my screen.
No, I'm saying click on the bottom where there's the chat function.
Okay, Zoom chat open.
Next to the chat button, there should be a share screen.
That green button.
Yes.
Ah, share, okay. Okay, all right, I got it.
Awesome.
All right, let me know when everyone can see it.
Yes, we can. I can see it.
Okay.
Yes, it's visible from here.
Let me just get my notepad out quickly. Okay, gentlemen, so there are two platforms in total. What I'm showing you now is the tool that as a property manager or a property owner, you're going to use. This is going to be your portal into the system. So here you can see the uploading and configuring of listings is pretty much your standard listing site, but there are quite a few caveats that are system specific. So when you look at one piece of property, this will give you an overview. This will give you an overview of your property in real time, how much you're actually making, how much you're actually losing, what your expense markup looks like. You can also export records by date, sort them by outstanding, paid, or late. And down here, you can, I'm just going to pull out records from all time. So down here in the payment table, you can see a consolidated view of all of your tenants in one place, as well as who's late, who's on time, the dates, etc. And when we move slightly down, you get a similar reporting tool. However, this is focused on your expenses, your fixed expenses, your one-off expenses, as well as external invoices raised by service providers outside your domain. And further down, there are two key components here that you should look at. First of all, we have what we call a rental preset and a screening preset. So one thing I left out of the major areas of focus, we've got maintenance, we've got billing, we've got lease cycle management, and we also have tenant screening. Now, what tenant screening allows you to do is create custom forms that you want people to fill out when they want to, when you're prospecting tenants, basically. And this default screening, it'll appear on the main website with your property. And from here, you can specify what questions you want a prospective tenant to answer, as well as the type of response, the documentation you would like them to upload, like confirmation of employment, all the KYC heavy stuff. And you can also configure viewing slots so that when they're filling out this information, they can also specify when they would like to carry out an on-site visit. So you can configure these Monday to Sunday pretty much anytime you want. And we have an update rolling out, which will plug this straight into Gmail. So it will synchronize itself into your larger technical ecosystem. So that's the screening component. Now, in terms of billing and rental collection, we went for maximum flexibility here. And what you'll be able to see is that per tenant, you're able to create customized billing profiles which charge people different amounts at different times. And you can also apply different payment rules, such as whether you want to charge a prorated rent for new people, whether you're going to allow partial payments, and whether you are going to charge late fees. And if you do charge late fees, how do you charge them? Do you charge a flat fee or do you charge a compounding interest? And if so, what is your grace period before a tenant is considered late? Under the same profile, you can also specify additional fees. If you're looking at like a piece of property that's just got multi-use, you'll have lots of auxiliary fees associated with the base rent, such as levies and parking of the like. So all of that, you specify all of that per client. You can use one standard model for all your tenants, or you can make it custom. Either way, once you've set this, you can pretty much forget about it. The system acts as your enforcer from there. So that is screening and rental billing. Onboarding tenants is quite simple. We don't really require your clients to know of the platform beforehand. All you need to do is just specify their contact details, as well as the duration of their lease, their essential lease configuration. And from there, we will then reach out to your tenant and onboard them. We'll send them an email detailing how they can come into the system using a unique rental code issued by you. And after you've added a tenant, you'll be able to see them pending until they've actually onboarded themselves. So yes, this is meant to give you a bird's eye view of a single property at any given time. So I'm just going to dive into a few specifics so that we can appreciate other aspects of it. Over here is an individualized tenant profiling, which essentially narrows the billing and maintenance down to one person for individual tracking. You can raise ad hoc invoices, and in terms of actual payment gateway solution, we're very flexible on that as well. So yes, this is an individualized screen. Now, what else I need to show you is the maintenance. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that covers your bird's eye view of the landlord portal. And what I'm going to show you in just a few seconds is a snapshot of the tenant portal. Just give me 1 minute to start it up.
Do you have any questions while we're waiting for Clive, gentlemen?
Because we are mostly tenants, I think we would await the tenant portal.
All right, not a problem.
So ready? Lagay. Error. Error.
Okay, so here we have the tenant platform, gentlemen. This is going to be the public main site and the one that will get most of sort of like the promotion effort, because we want a place for where people can come and look for property and not just view it and talk to an agent, but go all the way and be able to apply for your rentals. So what we're looking at here is the customer's view of a property before they've become an actual tenant. This may not be so relevant, but I'll show you anyway. This is the screening form. So here you fill out your desired rental information, how much you're offering, when you'd like to see ETC, and then you submit your application. The application will go for screening, and it'll either be accepted or rejected. Now, at the end of all of, let me just sign it. Right. So back here, when you add a new tenant, the rental code is what they will then come here and activate their lease with. Once they submit this rental code, they find a fully configured lease attached to it, which they can then interact with. So this is now you as a tenant. You get full view of your, you get full view of your maintenance and billing at any given time. We keep you up to date with your accounting, as well as give you a facility to make rental and other auxiliary payments. Payments are not only limited to digital platforms. You can pay the traditional way and still submit a proof of payment here. It's important that the landlord has accurate records, so we've sort of tried to make sure that we've captured digital and non-digital by offering these two channels. So from here, as a tenant, you can interact with your account, settle payments individually or in bulk. And in terms of maintenance, this is where you'll also access your requests and lodge requests. So let's see what that looks like. This is essentially, okay, I'm showing you two applications, but it's one thing. This application is going to come into here, what you're seeing here, this view from here is this. So when you submit an issue, when you submit an issue, you specify what your problem is, and you then give a date of availability in case a service call out is required. Not all issues are physical, some of them are technical. You may just need sort of like a instructional from someone else. But either way, we have the teams configured at the back, And we have intelligence that takes this issue and categorizes it as either an incident or a service request and sends it to the relevant party. Now, the difference between an incident and a service request, they're close but slightly different. An incident is pretty much when something went bad, when something went wrong. If there was a burst pipe, a leaky faucet, or plug renewal, or whatever that is. A service request is asking for access to a controlled resource. Now, in BAC, I'm familiar with like the levels of access control in terms of how you like issue licenses, giving people Microsoft packages and all of that. This is similar, but it just streamlines the process and sends it directly to the person who needs approval. And from here, you're able to monitor both incidents and service requests in real time, which is essentially what we're pushing for here. We want transparency in processes because more often than not, the larger an organization is, the more people feel like their complaints just disappear into a black hole. And if they don't know someone personally on the maintenance team, it's that much harder to get service. We're trying to eliminate that bottleneck and automate as much of the disbursement process as possible. So you log an issue and headquarters will decide whether it's an incident or a service request. In either case, it will be sent to the appropriate and relevant party, and as a user, you can track it from here. At any given change in point, we're also sending out real-time alerts in the form of SMSs and emails to keep everyone abreast. And then there's the historical collection of that. So from left to right, that's pretty much what your experience as a user is going to be like. You use this platform for very specific needs and intentions. You are either interacting with your accounting, your billing, or maintenance issues, which are a lot more prevalent, and that's more of an everyday thing. So I think I've covered everything, and at this point, I'm going to hand over to Nauta.
Thanks so much, Clive. Gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our presentation. And what Clive has basically shown you is I think I could say our blueprint for what MRSP is all about, but we are open to customizing it specific to a client's need, especially when I'm looking at facilities management. Your needs and requirements may be different from, say, a residential complex that needs to be issuing out leases and having to make sure the tenants have paid their rent and so on and so forth. Now, I was thinking more about maintenance, the maintenance component, because I'm also in facilities management, and I think what I would recommend, should we wish to go further and should BAC be interested, is something that's specific to your maintenance requirements. We especially like the component which falls under this feature, which allows tenants and the maintenance team to actually communicate and ensure that tenants are satisfied with the way the premises are, the efficiency, as well as whether it has been effectively resolved, whether the issue has been effectively resolved. So I think I can hand over to the BAC team. Maybe you can give us your thoughts, and if there are any questions that you have, Clive and I will be happy to answer. Hello, sir.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we together.
Era.
Oh, okay. Just my first question. In terms of, if I need to generate a report on this maintenance page here, is there that thing that allows me to do that?
We design custom reports as per your requirements. So the report generation that you see here, this was made simply because one client wanted a thorough accounting of income and expenses in and out. So if your reporting deviates from this, then we expand it to cover.
Okay. So that means if I need a report on maintenance for a certain period of time, I can be able to generate from this platform?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, so maybe if I can just chip in. Another example that I can give with regards to the maintenance component, a tenant would be able to log a request. No, we have an issue here. I think Clive had put something about the generator on the presentation. Generator is off. That communicates with the facilities management team. Facilities management will be able to log in and said, this was reported at such a time, and then it took us this long to attend to the issue and resolve it. And the another good thing about it is the requester or the tenant who logged the call will be able to give that feedback. I'm satisfied with the job that was done. It was attended to efficiently and effectively, and possibly rate from a 1 to 5 star rating. Now, facilities management will be able to generate reports on its maintenance, as well as any other requirements that you have, as Clive has mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, I think it's a very, very good platform. What I wanted to know, because one of the things that we intend to do, or that we intend to do, is to pay our suppliers on time, service providers. We have a challenge of service providers maybe not submitting invoices on time. So we want a platform that will always remind service providers and utility service providers that submit your invoices on time, such that we pay you on time. Is it something that you can integrate into the system?
Let me answer you, sir. And I'm very happy because we just almost finished building that about a few weeks ago. So what we have in conjunction with Mrs. P, which I haven't shown you, is an additional platform for your service providers, Tata Vale, that are outside your immediate blanket, which are the ones who raise invoices.
Okay.
What's going to happen is that when you have this plugged in, all maintenance requests are going to flow through that platform to the service provider, and they will be required to give an invoice and lead time before accepting the job and being disbursed to client.
Okay.
And then their invoices and all their raised invoices come back here into the expense column. And what I'm working on now is a tool that will allow you to settle money out of an account into a wallet. And we're going to integrate wallets with the service provider's platform. So a settlement will be instant. The moment management authorizes the invoice, it's good to go.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Any other questions, sirs?
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I think from my side, I don't have much in terms of questions. I think it's a platform that is clear in terms of giving information that that somebody needs. Are you guys currently using it somewhere? It's something that is new?
Please repeat that.
Is it something that you are currently implementing somewhere, and how efficient it is at the moment?
Are you asking how long we've been built? I'm not, please rephrase your question.
My question is to say, this platform, have you implemented somewhere, and how efficient it is in terms of the customer side?
Right.
Well, yes, we have run some successful pilots. We've done a pilot with the state construction, and we are lining up to do one with Innovation Hub soon. And there's one person I'm forgetting. Who was it, Nalsha?
It's Botu University for the property wing. Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much helped us build our maintenance component. So yeah, your needs are aligned.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I think
what
maybe
you okay. So you can tailor this to our needs. I get it.
Yes.
Because of other needs, like an institution, a college, there are needs of booking rooms for whatever reason, Venon. You may want to book a boardroom, you may want to book a classroom, you may want to book anything. What I want to know if all these things can be integrated into the system, because I think the idea for us is for the total maintenance to be controlled from one system.
Yes.
Because as is, all our operations are manual. What you can advise if there is something that you can do, making requests for transport and what have you, requests for lapses are indicated.
Gets on any service request
with issues of, sir?
Gets on any service request. I was trying to explain this. So a service request, let's take this for example again. I want a boardroom. All boardroom requests go to, let's say, the IT manager. Labs. I want a lab for 2 hours. All requests go to the IT. IT has to approve of my service request, and this is what it would look like here. I requested a lab from IT for the purposes of whatever. This is how long I'll use it, and this is how far my actual request is gone. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I hope that answers your question, Rea Betnika.
It does.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Zoom only gives us 45 minutes. So
are you kidding?
I'm serious. It only gives 45 minutes. So I think we can possibly wrap up and schedule a follow-up meeting. I am unfortunately in Molepole, and I just saw on the news that Gaborone is a closed zone. There's no movement in and out of Gaborone. So I wouldn't be able to meet with you personally until further notice. And are you at work? We could possibly get a permit to come for a face-to-face.
Oh, I already have permits.
We are currently working in terms of preparing for college readiness. So we are in and out of the college today. So just one thing that I wanted to highlight is to say we are currently working on the college overall ERP system, which FM is part of the components that we are currently looking into to say how can we integrate it within the whole system. So we will see how far everything is going, and then we'll keep on engaging each other.
Fantastic.
I was thinking we could schedule a needs analysis, sir, because I'm very aware of I have the advantage of knowing your internal processes quite intimately. And a system like this, in terms of fitting in, it'll be crucial that we output data into your ERP system so that your overall accounting balances. And if you want a snapshot of property and property alone, then you have this platform by itself.
No, that's right.
I am personally in Gaborone and active, so I'm open to like a scoping meeting of sorts, just some sort of next steps.
All right. I think we will. Has your contacts or anything around that?
Yes.
That we can see how we can arrange so that maybe during the course of this week or next week, if the situation allows, that we can find time to discuss further again.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. So what I'll do, I'll just send another email and I'll put our contacts, but I'll also just put Clive's number so that you can liaise with him, and I'll share your contacts with him as well.
All right.
Thank you so much, Borre.